Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Dawn Parker and I'm the UK Product Ambassador at Milner Browne. Today I'm going to be showing you some information on the SAP Business One 9.3 release. Okay, so what are we going to be seeing today? After a quick introduction, we'll move into looking at a selection of the new features. As always, I've picked a few major and a few minor features for today's taste of the new release of SAP Business One 9.3. For those of you who've attended these before, it's not an exhaustive list, and for those of you who saw our last webinar, you'll be aware also that enhancements to support GDPR will be included in the next couple of patches. Okay, so once we've looked at the new features, I'll just give you an idea of what you can do next if you want to progress getting up to date with 9.3, and also if we have time at the end there'll be space for questions. Okay, so let's get on then with an introduction to SAP Business One 9.3. Okay, so at the moment the general release of 9.3 is due out sort of March, April, so any time now. It has been out in early adoption mode since September last year, and we do have one or two customers who are already progressing with that, but the sort of full general release will be out very, very shortly. We're coming up now to just getting patch level 3, and then patch level 4 will be following soon. I say for those of you who were seeing the GDPR talk in the last couple of weeks, you'll know that SAP are adding some more features in around that in patch 3 and 4. For those of you who are on earlier releases of Business One, you'll see that the 9.2 mainstream maintenance will continue until the end of June, and there's another patch out for that in April. And once that's done, then it will move into what's called transitional maintenance, as are all the earlier releases of SAP, which go back to 8.8. So you can see here that SAP's focus around 9.3 is expanding the core, globalizing the business, making a more powerful platform and making it ecosystem friendly. So let's get into looking at some of the new features. So in terms of approval procedures, SAP have been busy enhancing this facility over the last few releases, and with these latest changes, I think you'll agree it's worth having a look at it if you don't already use it. Or maybe you started using it but stopped because it was too impractical. I think the ability now to update a previously approved document, is definitely a significant step, because, it's very hard to accept that, a sales order or a purchase order may not require changes going forward. Once it had been approved previously, there was nothing you could do about it other than cancel it and recreate it. So now you will be able to update a previously approved document. In addition, while the draft document is going through the status of pending or approved, you will be able to make further changes to it. So, it means that the loop has really been completed as far as the use of approval procedures is concerned. Now, for this next one, which is importing from Excel and additions to that, we all probably know that the DTW, or Data Transfer Workbench, is not the most user-friendly tool out there if you're trying to get data into SAP, which is why these latest additions to the simple import from Excel are very welcome. I would just remind you to take care when using this facility, as someone told me the other day they'd accidentally created a whole load of business partners when they should have been updating items. So, it is worth noting the flag settings at the bottom of the screen, where you tell the system whether you want to just add records, add and update records, or just update records. But the particular changes here then are the abilities to import journal entries from an Excel spreadsheet, and also serial and batch numbers. And then if you want to make sure you limit or control who is actually doing the importing, there's some extra authorizations there now. So it means going forward, for these types of imports, you won't have to use the data transfer workbench anymore. Okay, so now let's look at a more major new feature in 9.3. So this new feature has been on the radar for a long time. And I think it nicely completes the after-sale service process when in the past we've had to find more of a workaround to handle it. So what this does is it provides a sort of a step that comes before the return or the goods return on the supplier side, where you can agree in advance with the customer or the supplier what is going to be returned. You can make sure you've got details about reasons. It means also that you've got a number that you can give to the customer so that when, and more importantly, some kind of document to accompany the goods, so that when they return the goods, it's not difficult to work out what it is, where it's come from and what needs to be done with it. So this really does enable you to better manage and track the return process. Additional features that aren't displayed here are you can also create this return material document from within a service call, and it also is displayed in the open items list. So you can see all RMAs that have been raised but not yet received back. So this really does streamline the process around after-sales service. Back to a more minor, but I think equally useful facility. I don't know how many times I've been asked the question, oh, why can't we assign activities to more than one people? Well, at last with 9.3, the answer is now yes, you can do it. So you can assign an activity to multiple users or employees, and you can also set up predefined lists for the purpose of who's going to receive a particular activity. So again, this makes life a lot easier and saves having to sort of duplicate activities just to make sure that different people have been notified or asked to do a particular task. So definitely makes things more efficient in the use of activities. Another, again, perhaps more minor improvement, but again, something I think will be welcomed by everybody. Another question that I get asked a lot, and that is, why can't I collapse and expand the chart of accounts screen to make it easier to navigate around it? Well, you now can see from the screenshot here that you have the ability to say what level you want to see your chart of accounts at. And when you choose the level, and you can use them the expand and collapse, and it will collapse it down as if you're looking at, say, your financial reports. Also, the eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed that at the bottom of the drawers there are a couple of extra ones now, just numbered here 9 and 10. So these additional drawers can be used if required. What this does is brings all the localizations in line with each other. So some localizations already needed these extra drawers, but it means now that everything's the same, which again does make it easier if you're operating in a multi-localization environment and you want to make sure that your chart of accounts structure sort of matches across all of those localizations. A couple of other features which are also included around the financials area that I haven't put screenshots in for today are the ability when creating a journal entry to make the journal remarks mandatory at either header, row or both levels. So again, that allows you to force the entry of those fields so that you've got better auditability, more consistency. And you can also set up default remark templates against accounts, and again that just helps you to make sure that the data is added to the system more consistently. Another one in the area of financials that's completely brand new here, and that is a nice addition for those of you who use cost accounting. So this facility allows you to allocate costs between cost centres using a special cost centre transfer journal. It also allows you to set up your own numbering series so that you can separate them out from your normal journals, and maybe even have different departments or different teams using their own document range, and that way again it makes for easier reporting and auditability. In addition to being able to do a cost centre transfer transaction, you can also allocate cost to the correct cost centres directly from the cost centre distribution report. So this makes it a faster action and increases your productivity. And for those of you who are using journal vouchers, you also have the ability to do the cost centre transfer through the journal voucher. Now this next one I think will hopefully bring a sigh of relief to a number of people. I'm sure you've had the situation where you needed to run the payment wizard and execute the step to create the payments, but you either didn't have the time there and then because you couldn't have your screen tied up, or maybe you were going away or on holiday or something and you didn't want to run it now and create the payments, but you didn't know how you were going to get them the payment wizard run while you were away. Well, now you have this great option to set it up to run in batch mode. Okay, so what this allows you to do is to run it out of hours and on a different date. So no longer will it tie up your screen and you can carry on with the rest of your day job. And also you can hopefully go on holiday in the knowledge that the payments are going to be processed in the background without you having to set it off from your screen. So again, that's another nice new productivity streamlining change there. Okay, another area where SAP introduced a completely new module. So in 9.2 we got the new project management module, and that had a number of nice new features in terms of grouping together documents into a project, into different sub-projects, etc. But what SAP have done in 9.3, they've added some new features to really sort of complete the process. Firstly, there is a wizard which allows you to pick up costs, billable items, and process them as invoices against the project. It saves you having to do this sort of manually on a one-by-one basis. In addition to the billing wizard, once you're inside the project screen, you can now right-click to see a new Gantt chart view of the project and how it all fits together. There's a timesheet report which allows people to enter all the details of the time that they've spent, and to see the report, and then that all gets fed into the billing wizard that we've just seen earlier. And finally, another change is the ability to set up stage dependencies. And again, this is all going to help in terms of making sure that your projects run efficiently. Okay, so the final feature that I'm going to mention today is around production routing. So with the addition of resources in an earlier release, SAP opened up the production module to more users. Now it has come up with a new addition, which is the next logical step, and that is the routing. So routing stages allow you to group together resource and item components and sequence the processing of those resources and items. With start and end dates on the root stage, the production process in SAP now matches more closely what is happening in reality on the shop floor. So you can identify at what points resources need to be used, when items need to be issued, etc., rather than it just being an all or nothing as it was previously. So the start and end dates mean that you can actually see the time scale during which the complete production process is going to take effect. As well as the changes that you can see here around the production order, it also includes the ability to set up all the routing information through the bill of materials form, which will then get copied through into the production order. And SAP have also renamed the Pick Pack Manager in 9.3 to be the Pick Pack and Production Manager. So this now enables you to take decisions about warehouse type activities based on production information, and you can include things such as the route stage, the start date, the route sequence and the production priority when you're deciding to issue, transfer, pick stock through the Pick, Pack and Production Manager. So I think you'll see that this new feature is going to enable you to plan, execute and manage basic route-based production, which I think will open up the use of the standard Business One production module to more people. And as I said earlier, it enables greater control over the production-related item and resource components and how they are used in the production module, particularly around the area of when the component demand is required, which will help you make your MRP decisions more accurately. Okay, so we've just seen a taste of SAP Business One 9.3 and what happens next. Okay, so if you require more information, if you would like an estimate for an upgrade, then obviously you can contact your account manager or our support desk, who will be very happy to help you. We also have an information email, info@milnerbrowne.com, where you can also provide your questions to us as well. And again, we'll be happy to hear from you via that email address. Okay, so I'd just like to say that that's the end of the presentation. As I said earlier, please get in touch with your account manager or send an email to the email address I mentioned earlier. We are recording this webinar and we'll be sending the link out to everyone. If you would like to see more of our webinars, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and enable notifications, and then you'll be kept in touch with new videos as we add them. So that's all for now. Thank you very much to everybody who joined us today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you on our next webinar in 2 weeks.